So my name's Anna, and I'm a Chinese language and marketing major at the University of Georgia. I'm 19 years old, and I was raised in Savannah, Georgia. I wanted to start a video blog because I love to write, and I haven't had much of the opportunity since I got into college. And so I thought this would be a less time-consuming way to put my thoughts, on some sort of record. And the reason I'm sharing these online is because I think that even though I'm not terribly unique in a lot of respects, I think that my opinion and everyone's opinion is worth sharing and can contribute to thoughtful discussion. So, I guess to start with, I want to talk about my childhood and how I was brought up. So, as I mentioned, I was raised in Savannah, Georgia. I was born in Jessup, Georgia. My parents moved away from there. They didn't really think it was a good environment to raise me. There was a lot going on, and for a small town, there was a lot going on at the time. Actually, with the doctor that delivered me, she kind of got stuck in the middle of a controversy. She started openly treating AIDS patients. This was in 1994 in the Deep South. But that's just a little background. So my parents decided to raise me a little differently. We moved to Savannah when I was about 2 years old. So Savannah is pretty much all I've ever known. And, I think that in most ways I had a very lucky childhood. I wasn't particularly privileged in the way that I had the newest toys or, the best TV package or the most fun parents. But I was lucky because my parents were wonderful. They really tried to teach me and fostered the environment of learning, being inquisitive, and always always learning when you realize that you're ignorant on certain things. And I think that was great. I didn't watch many cartoons. I didn't but even though I didn't have cartoons, I didn't have picture books, I had a mom that would read to me, and I had a dad that would take me outside to look at the stars. And they always taught me to be a knowledgeable person, to be a socially conscious person. And I can't really start a video blog without talking about them because they're the reason I am the way I am. They shaped me into someone that was a lot different, just different. I didn't have many friends growing up. I had some, but I didn't have a ton. I got along mostly with my teachers. I was very quiet. I liked to read, and most people that I was in class with, they didn't really they didn't have the same kind of background. They were more I'm not sure if it's that their parents just didn't share like mine did, or if it was that their parents didn't know, or I don't know. My parents never did that. They always made sure that I was part of the discussion, no matter how young I was. It wasn't like inappropriate. They would just bring it down to my level, and that grew with complexity as I did. And so in my house there was a lot of science and philosophy and art, a lot of history and literature. And I'm really grateful for that. And my parents really gave me the feeling that that anything was possible, and that, you know, if we didn't know something, there was always a way to find out. And yeah, you know, I really want to say thank you to my parents. They're wonderful, and you know, they've done so much for me that I can't even begin to describe. Um, I remember when I was a young girl, I was about 7 or so. My dad got a telescope, and he would take me outside, and we'd just point out the constellations. To this day, when I see Orion, or Cassiopeia, I always think about my dad. Um, you know, he really brought an interest in science into my life. He told me he told me about how the molecules in my body were created in outer space in the center of stars, and things like that really stuck with me. You know, it makes me feel whole, like I'm part of something big and beautiful. I think I'll talk more about that in another video, because I could go on and on about um, how wonderful the idea of being part of the universe makes me feel. But I mostly wanted to talk about my parents, and I think I've done them justice. So we'll see how it goes.